Getting indie with it. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is the indie release list of April 2025. As always, these lists do not come from me, these come from AJ Calvin over on her blog, and also Rob J. Hayes over on his blog, which I'll have linked down below. This April, we have quite a lot to get through between the two lists. Normally, there's only a couple that the other one misses, but in this instance, we've got quite a few on one and like just a bunch of different ones on the other. So check those lists out if you like in a written format. I just give it a video format each and every month. If you do have a book coming out and you want to put it on this list, by all means, please do so, and I will give it a video platform when the time comes. Now, I am mid-month again by the time this video comes out. I normally find that if I wait at least 5 days or so into the month, most people have got their books on this list, and there isn't too many that I miss. If I do miss any, or I find out that others are coming out in the month, I will have them in the description box down below. I think last month I missed about 3. So if there are any that you've heard about or have missed, read the description. If I have missed any, like legitimately missed any in the description box or on here that are indie or self-pub, please let me know and I'll add it into the description box. But let's jump in. We've got quite a few to get through for April of 2025. The first one on April 1st was Into the Sky. This is by Amara Lynn, and this is an Into the Deep prequel. All the covers will be up here. Misfortune had always followed Carlos and Vask. Vask, I think is how you pronounce it. Before Lamarck, UV, and Pigeon, there were 2 brothers on a quest for fame and fortune. One brother got lucky, the other met with an unfortunate fate. Both shaped the future of Lamarck, the unluckiest pirate of them all. Also on April 1st, we have the Siren's Cursed Kiss by Kat Kinney. That is something you can't say 3 times fast. And this is Everwood Falls book number 3. This is cozy fantasy romance / mystery, and I quite like the cover. The colors playing together, the reds and the blues there, but it is a book 3, so we will have to mosey on over. Another cool looking cover is Triple Strike. This is Threads Unbound by G.M. Gray. This has also come out on April 1st, and this is Triple Strike book number 3. Quite an intriguing cover here, and this is a space opera, also in the queer sphere with the LGBTQIA+ tag. And yeah, I quite like the purples and the blues on this one as well. Jumping on over to April 2nd, we have In Shade or Shadow by David Keith Jones, and this is historical fantasy / horror, which those two genres together tend to pique my interest quite a lot. This is from the wild I can't speak, I've just finished work, apologies. Carpathian forests of their homeland to the murky streets of 18th century Paris to the craziness of swinging 1970s London, the Austere family has been hunted by their enemies who are undying, implacable, and who do not forget. Lost among the great old trees of those same forests that gave rise to the Augustes, James Caswell meets Polly Margrave, who is trying to find traces of that ancient family lost to time. A family who, legend says, practiced magical rituals and drank human blood. Historical research was not supposed to be this dangerous. Perhaps the Augustes, have I pronounced that 3 different ways? Do not want to be found. It sounds intriguing. Also on the 2nd of April, we have the re-release of Price of Power by Michael Michel. This is Dreams of Dust and Steel, book number 1, and it looks like this. Has a revamp of the cover, revamp of the series name, I think. This is epic fantasy, grimdark, and sword and sorcery. I've read and really enjoyed the first book twice. I've not read the new prologue. It has had a little bit more put into it, or it's changed a bit, and I have not read the new edition, but I will. I do have an arc for book 2, though, and I'm very, very excited for it. Also on April 2nd, we have A Brief History of Chronomancy. This is Arcane Ascension book number 6 by Andrew Rowe, and this cover is gorgeous. I love the neon pink silver situation that is happening here. This is epic fantasy / progression fantasy, and Andrew Rowe is one that has come on my radar since looking at these lists, but it is a book 6, so we will just mosey on. Also on April 2nd is one that I did read in beta form. This is Blood of the Kami by Baptiste Pinson Wu. This is sword and sorcery / historical fantasy, and it is a blast with a gorgeous cover. For centuries, the Yasuki have fought the corrupted souls who seek to plunge Japan into darkness, but the fragile balance is now shifting towards forces of evil. Ren Fudo, a soul hunter blessed with the blood of the Kami, receives a mission from Amaterasu Omikami. I'm so sorry. The simple errand is a spirit given chance to pay off his debt to the Yasakai. Wow, get it together, Kris. But as he and his new companion, a shrine maiden possessed by a violent land kami, take to the road, Ren remembers that spirits never give for nothing. The mission turns more dangerous and crucial with every step. The future of Japan now rests on their shoulders, and an army of yokai stands in their path. On their path. This was super fun. I highly recommend it if you're looking for. It's YA, but it's quite violent from what I remember in terms of YA, but a really, really fun adventure. On the 3rd of April, we have the Wilds Exile. I actually have this one physically. I got it in the Kickstarter by J.D.L. Rozelle. This is the Ranger of the Time Wilds book number 4. I've read book 1, and I have the other 3. I really need to pick this series back up. Also on April 3rd, we have Beautiful Dreamer by Vanessa Vanessa L. Krause, and this is a middle grade young adult action sci-fi, I think. 15-year-old Ruta finds herself trapped in the Sleep versus Citadel, where her many selves gather at night, a place that no dreamer has visited before. For herself, the Citadel is paradise. For Ruta, it's a nightmare. Ruta? Yeah, is a nightmare she can't escape from. Someone is holding her hostage in a perpetual state of sleep state, and she needs to find out why before their nefarious plans comes to fruition. It's supervillains versus girl power in a dimensional tug of war where it's up to Ruta and a group of stellar young ladies to save the universe with their combination of wits, compassion, and fantastical skills. Ruta will find her way home with the help of her amazing selves. That sounds adorable. Also on April 3rd, we have Blood and Dreams by Bella Dunn, and I quite like this cover as well. This is Otherworld book number 2, and it is a urban fantasy. Who would have thought that the fairy tales were real? On April 4th, we have Forged in Blood. This is Guild of Assassins book number 2 by John Cronshaw, and this is Grimdark and Sword and Sorcery, and I would like to know what's happening with that dragon in the back. To forge a perfect blade, I can't go on from there because it is a book 2. On April 5th, we have The Sarcophagus of Lamia by Rebecca E. Reyes. And this is a novelette in the gothic sci-fi sphere, and it looks like this. Buried under Comet 1325's harsh snow is a radiant cadaver, laying in an escape pod from a fairy tale. Perfectly preserved, she's reminiscent of the monster haunting the mining colonists in their sleep. Who really is the mysterious woman, and will the journey to return her body home be worth it? On April 7th, we have none other than Mr. Tao Wong, who has graced our presence with all of these lists. This is Magic Kingdom at War number 12. This is epic fantasy progression / lit RPG, and it looks like something is really going down in this cover here. We also have one that I'm quite excited to get to, not that I've read book 1, on April 7th, and this is the Sanguine Sands by Alec Hudson. This is the Sharded Few book number 2 with a very cool looking cover here. This is also epic fantasy / progression and cultivation. On the 8th of April, we have Masters of Deception. It's a re-release for J.C. Kang, and this cover is sick. I really love the blues. Maybe I just love blue swirly magic because that's really like catching my eye, and I want to know if that is magic and what's happening with it. Only a disgraced sorceress and conman can prevent an ancient evil from returning to the world. I'm intrigued. On the 11th of April, we have Adventurers of the Six-Armed Brawler, the Asura. This is book number 1. This is also a martial arts progression fantasy. If you want true power, you'll need to be willing to give up the idea you have about yourself. You have to go beyond. Every legend has a start. Every adventure begins with leaving home. For Manny, it was being tossed out of a spy in Vaja City. Living on the streets, he grabs his one break to fight in the arenas where mutation is encouraged, extra limbs, tentacles, and more. Initially, Manny is nothing but a basic human, but his desire for power leads him to his true potential, when a strange arm bursts from his back. Oh, interesting. Using the newfound power of his third arm, he continues to fight in the arena, finding even greater strength as more arms emerge from him. But as he increases in rank, his foes become stranger and more mutated themselves. How long will it take him to climb from a nobody to A rank? But getting stronger is not his only desire. Revenge burns brightly in him. In seeking vengeance for the home ripped from him, he discovers a conspiracy of pig-masked men, a conspiracy that might stretch into the highest level of Varsha City. This is a story of power, mutation, authoritarian oppression, revenge, and friends made along the way. Interesting for money. We also have another beautiful cover here. This is Stardust Child by Melissa J. Cave. This is Empires of Stars Book 2, and this is historical fantasy, romance, and adventure. I love the white with the sketch on the back and then having that central figure there. I don't often love a central figure in a cover, but this one really works in my opinion. And it's a book 2. So we are just going to move on from there. On April 12th, we have Memories of Sorcery. Memories of Sorcery and Sand. This is by Joanna Masijuska. Again, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. And this is Sword and Sorcery. It says 2 worlds, 1 woman, no memories. At 22, Siren has scars she can't explain and a 3-year memory gap. An exotic family vacation away from her fractured past is meant to help her regain balance, except that the desert sands are calling to her with an eerie familiarity. And Malatrus, a stranger met by anything but chance, claims to know what happened during these times she can't remember. But to trust Malatrus's words means believing in sorcery and traveling to another world. It also means putting her future in the hands of her father's longtime rival, who has reasons to hate them both. Because with every restored memory, Siren realizes that not only did past Siren keep secrets from both Malatrus and her father, she had also made a choice that could threaten the desperate scheme she had risked her life for. And now Siren faces the same choice once more. Losing her life will be a minor inconvenience, but losing her memories again could be the end of her. This is an author that I would really like to get to sometime soon. On the 14th of April, we have Scales of Fire by Ashley Capes, another author I really need to read. And this cover, like Ashley Capes' covers, are just beautiful. And this is an epic fantasy. It's YA. Looks like this. I would have eaten this up as a kid just by cover alone, but I really do need to get to it. This is a book 2. On April 15th, we have The M Word. This is Theory of Magic by Jeff McIntyre, and this is urban fantasy, and it looks like this dude is about to take on that dragon, and it just says Magic is Unleashed, which it looks like it's about to be quite interesting for that person on the cover. We also have Exile's Fury by Christian Warren Freed on April 15th. This is a Lazarus Men Agenda book number 4, which is sci-fi noir. I'm intrigued by that genre combination. Would be interested in reading something in that realm. If you have recommendations, let me know. On April 16th, we have The Sorrow of the Wise Man by Bella Dunn. This is the Illyrian Saga, book number 1. Hopefully I pronounced that somewhat correctly. This is epic fantasy. And it says, what would you sacrifice for glory? Turles? I don't know. Turles Illyrian. I've butchered all of that. The powerful queen of Gallia nurtures a dangerous dream and will sacrifice anything to turn it into a reality, even those she loves. Driven by greed and arrogance, her actions will seethe the wall between her 2 daughters, Dalen and Herwin. If I pronounce one of these correctly, I'm going to take that as a win. Dalen will inherit 2 queendoms, united by a lie and divided by mistrust. To keep her crown, she will fight enemies in the battlefield, but the most treacherous are those dwelling in the shadows of her own court. Ambition, madness, and greed, grief and love will give birth to an unfathomable darkness. It's a dangerous thing to meddle with fate. It's a dangerous thing for me to pronounce these names, because I don't know that I did all that well. Also on April 16th, we have Witch's Magic by A.K. Stunts. This is Rise of the Witches, book number 3. Do we have a wolf in the back of that cover there? I love a wolf. This is urban fantasy action adventure. It just says action adventure here. I'm getting urban fantasy vibes. It says 1 choice, 2 worlds, endless consequences. Endless consequences feels a bit rough. On April 17th, we have Fallen Realms, Skies of Siena, I think, book number 2 by Morgan K. Bell. This is epic fantasy / steampunk, which I'm realizing is something I love, is fantasy steampunk. So I'm already intrigued. Also, the cover is blue and gorgeous, but it is a book 2. On April 22nd, we have Vampyre Theory by Elizabeth Ramsey. This is MD book number 2. Elizabeth Ramsey, MD. I see. Vampyre Theory, Elizabeth Ramsey, MD book number 2 by Tammy Batalja. I'm so sorry. It is a book 2. I dig the cover. Urban fantasy, vampire theory. It looks very sort of, I guess, almost steampunk. Yes, but I'm guessing it's just like a city with the West Motel there. Anyway, I dig the red there. Also on April 27, we have. Oh, I didn't know this was coming out this month. Also on April 22nd, we have The Greatest Pub in the Multiverse by Herman Steuernagel, and I just got very excited because I loved The Bartender Between Worlds. This is cozy fantasy, and cozy fantasy even I can get behind. A haven for the lost, a home for the found. Welcome to the Pint and Portal. Yes. Also on April 22nd, we have The Walled City by L.L. Stevens. This is the Tempri Revelations, book number 5. I think I butcher that every time I've tried to pronounce this series. The series I really need to get to. It sounds so good. I need to pick it up. On April 29th, we have The Disgraced Return of Cap's Needle by Renan Bernardo, and this is a dark space opera, and we have had some excellent covers in this indie list this month, but I think this one may be my pick, followed by the next one I'm about to showcase. But this one definitely has me going, would buy that without even reading a blurb. But I'm going to read the blurb because it's book 1. 20 years ago, the generation ship Cap's Needle left Earth to settle a new world. It all went wrong. Now, 2 years into a desperate return trip, the ship's biospheres are collapsing and oxygen is nearly depleted. Oh, I'm so in. Life support manager Reva is now little more than a tax collector deciding who gets to breathe. Yup. When Captain Horvat launches a corruption purge to cover his own failures, Reva knows she's next. To protect her son, she must do the unthinkable. Trust First Officer Hannah, the woman who ruined her life, and help bring down the captain, no matter how many innocent lives it costs. Yes, yes, all the yes. I need it now. I will wait until April 29th. Also on April 29th, and tying for cover of the month, is the Crimson Fire. This is the Memories of Kinea. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. By Abel Montero. I'm actually reading this one right now, and it's epic fantasy. It looks like this. I love the grays, like the grayscale with the red, just so good. Gods walk among men, but the empire they have forged is on the brink of collapse. As whispers of rebellion grow louder, Ensign Andic uncovers a sinister plot that threatens the very foundation of the divine reign. Every discovery pulls him deeper into a dangerous web, forcing him to confront truths that could shatter his unshakable loyalty. On the other side, Eshfen, a ruthless rebel with a cunning mind and a thirst for chaos, strokes the flame of dissent. He sows doubt in the hearts of the people, challenging the gods' right to rule and sparking a dangerous game of shadows that could bring down empires. Caught between loyalty and self-discovery, Shady, a young noblewoman, grapples with the weight of her family honor and the desire for independence. With her fiercely devoted bodyguard Darjan by her side, Shady must navigate the treacherous waters of loyalty, love, and betrayal, where every choice could be their last. As destinies intertwine and alliances shift, these fours must face the gods themselves or watch the world they know crumble to ashes. This has started out to be very intriguing to me, but I can't talk too much about it, so wait for a wrap up. But I am reading it right now. And to finish off our list, oh no, we've got 2 more. We also have Killadet coming out on April 30th, an anthology of murder by Diana Gunn. This is a short story collection. It said, have you ever wanted to die in fiction? I maybe kind of. Diana Gunn asked the internet this question, and over 30 people said yes, these are their stories. That is cool. That is a cool premise for an anthology. Sacrificed to demons killed by velociraptors, hacked to pieces by axe murderers. These are just a few of the deaths you'll find within these pages. From the humorous to the horrific, this horror collection contains a murder for every reader. Which one will be your favorite? That's such a cool premise. And to finish off the list, we have Caden Love's Toothsucker, which is up here, coming out on April 30th, and this is a cyberpunk and I think a take on vampires as well, which is not something I knew I needed, like cyberpunk vampires. Pretty cool. In a cyberpunk future, an alarming disease strikes, dissolving the bones of those with cybernetic enhancements. Peter, a refugee, Peter sells himself to a company experimenting with a potential cure and instead finds himself with a strange new implant and a vampire hunger for teeth. I'm going with Peter. only wanted a short trial with easy money, and now he's at the mercy of a company hell-bent on market control, even if it means turning him into their potential pharmaceutical assassin. They're out for political power. Pater is out for an escape and teeth. That sounds sick. I have an arc of this one, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Those were the releases that we get in the month of April. Are there any that you're excited to pick up? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you like this content, give it one of those. And if you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.